my connection went, I was like, oh no. And then I got your text. I was like, damn it.
No, that's right, no worries. I was trying to connect and then they kept cutting off.
Oh, it's all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Back to kind of a little bit of normality, I suppose, or a little bit of a routine.
Yeah, it's
I,
getting there. It's getting there.
I know I spoke to you last in quarantine, but it was a good few weeks ago. I think we had just started quarantine, or it was a little bit.
Mm.
We were kind of in the depths of it, but so you're out Saturday night. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's Saturday, yeah, so it's flown round really now. Now it's here, it's only a few days away.
hmm So where are you still at home? What's your plan for this week? What's the setup?
Yeah, so I had press conference today. So I'm at home for now until Wednesday, and I've got to have a COVID test, and then
hmm
I'll have to self-isolate in the hotels until Saturday night.
So you haven't had your COVID test yet?
No, I'm not looking forward to it either. I've
I
heard
was
some
just
bad
about to
things.
ask, are you excited?
No way, I've heard some bad things.
I seen a couple of the MTK guys, Lee Eaton and Andy from IFL, putting up videos of their test today. It looks so brutal. It's the long what's that called? Cotton things, cotton swab.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks
yeah,
horrible.
I know. I'm gonna do my best to avoid it.
Well, listen, since we last spoke, what have you been up to? Because I know that you were kind of staying active and you were doing what you could from home. But
Yep.
when did you find out about the fight? When was it? When was it finalized?
Well, they rung me about 8, 9 weeks ago before the fight and said it looks like you'll be fighting the end of July. Um, so that was then, and then it was you might be beginning of August, and then it was the 25th of August. So I was out in Tenerife training, and then whilst I was in Tenerife, they moved it to the 15th of August. So it's been a bit up and down. 1 minute I was gonna be early July, late July, early August, and now we're in mid-August.
So how has that been? Because I know, like for some fighters, this time has been like has unfazed them, and then there's others that have been really out of their comfort zone and out of their schedule and their routine. We've seen loads of people turn down fights saying that they wouldn't feel comfortable, just not having a proper camp or not having the audience. So how was it different for you?
Well, to be honest with you, with me, regarding being booked to the 15th, they rang me when I was in Tenerife and they said, "Oh, you might have to change the photo style. It's going to change." But um, to be honest with you, when they said it was going to be later, I was half thinking, "Oh, I can't even bother with this now because it's just on and on and on." But when they said we're bringing it forward, I was over the moon with that. So that's good. I'm glad it's been brought forward.
I mean, obviously with yourself, undefeated and, title on the line. So it's a little bit different than just being active, just getting out there, just taking a fight. So, do you factor in those things, or is it still just a case of, I want to be active, I don't care who it is, what's on the line, just get me out?
Well, I think it just goes for me. I'm always in good domestic fights now. There's definitely no one can ever say I'll shy away from any fights, for sure. So since I boxed Leon Woodstock, the opponents I've boxed have all been higher domestic fights, and even with Jeff Ofori, it's going to be another tough night, as we know, because the fella's always fit. He's a very athletic fighter.
hmm
Um, so his idea will be giving Archie Sharp a tough night. So what I've had to do is I've had to train double hard, harder than I've actually trained before. Hence the reason why I went out to Tenerife to do my first camp. Um, so I'm looking forward to it because I do believe everyone's going to see the best Archie. Because I feel like no one's ever seen my full potential yet as a pro, and I do honestly believe on Saturday Jeff's the perfect opponent for that.
How do you feel that, when your opponent, like obviously with Jeff at the weekend, he'll be going into this fight knowing that he has an opportunity to take your undefeated streak, knowing that he has an
Yeah.
opportunity to take your belt. How is that for you, knowing that there's almost like, I suppose, a target or even more so of a target on your back with all these different elements?
The thing is, look, Jeff, for him, it's getting him out. He's on BT, like you say. He's been beaten. It's his opportunity because I'm ranked well, I'm just seeing this number 4 now. Because now Shakur's come up. But
hmm
so for him, it's win-win. He's on BT. Obviously, no one's really fighting in Corona at the minute. So for him, it's lovely. But for me, it's good because I'm thinking to myself, I need these fights to get out of bed. I can't have these. I can't be fighting people who are just going to go over in the first, second, and third round. It's hard for me to get training. Like I say, I'm in the best shape that I can possibly that I've been in so far, and that's because I know I've got another like tough domestic fighter coming out to fight. So yeah, I enjoy it. That's what I want. I want these fights. I don't want people saying, "Oh, I'm just going to stop him in 2 rounds." You know what I mean? That don't really excite me. I want these tough fights.
Absolutely. And I think we spoke about before as well about the having no crowds, the no
Yeah.
audience. Now that it's here and we've kind of seen how the previous shows have gone, how are you feeling about it? Like what's have you watched? You've obviously watched the other Frank Warren cards.
Yeah, I've watched the shows, and to tell you the truth, I'm excited. I am actually really excited to see. Listen, back in the amateur days, me and my training is to just go to a venue, fight, and go on. It's basically what we're doing, and I think now it's more structured. Do you know what I mean? If you're set at a time, you're going to be in at that time, and then you fight. You see, normally on fight nights, you get there, you could be first. It all changes, and when you're running live, it's not very. It doesn't normally run in time, but I think this is very structured. You got to do this because there's so many rules. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I can hear you now. I lost you. Is it your
Did we
connection or
get cut
me?
off?
Yeah, it paused after. Where did you hear up to?
Okay. A crowd Saturday night.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said about amateurs and that or not?
No. Repeat what you said.
So what I was saying is obviously in the amateur days, me and my trainer used to just go to the venue, we box, and then we'll come home. So I think this is going to be the same sort of similarity, if you like. I'll go there. I know what time I'm fighting. I've got to get in the ring, do what I've got to do, and then go. I think that's so. I do believe more so in my favour, more than Jeff, because of the experience I had as an amateur. Like I say, fighting all over the world, without my trainer, whatever. And it's the same sort of thing, with or without fans. It's just um, another scenario to tick off my list, I suppose.
In terms then of the preparation and the lead up with stuff like obviously sparring, being around certain coaches or people that you would have in the gym or have in camp, did you manage to get everything as close to what it's like, or has there been change ups? What's been happening?
To be honest with you, it was handy that Liam and Ryan Walsh were in training in Tenerife because it was a bit hard at first getting the sparring. Saying that, I was doing a bit over at Al Smith's actually with a few of the boys there, which was good sparring. Me, Dennis McCann, Sam Noakes. So I was getting the rounds in over there, and then obviously I flew to Tenerife.
Yeah.
And then there's a fellow called Frankie Arnold and Marley who've been helping me getting loads of rounds in as well. So I mean, definitely getting the rounds in. But yeah, going to Tenerife, I think, helped boost it. And like I say, coming back literally, 2 weeks ago, and now we're ready to fight.
So, like, obviously, you mentioned there, Dennis been out with you, and obviously, another stablemate, should we say?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the boxing fans, when they think about all you fighters that are signed to the same promoter, they kind of feel like, that there is a special bond or a special relationship there. And sometimes it might not be the case. Obviously, you're all, civil to each other when you see each other and stuff. But are there certain guys in the game that, you would take into camp, or that you would speak to, or that you would have more of a close relationship with?
Yeah, Dennis, like I say, Dennis is a very good friend of mine. And like I say, we only done one spar together. Sam Noakes as well there. Under the Frank Warren stable, and I get on really well with all them boys. They've helped me out, I've helped them out. We've got some good rounds in, very good work. So going through that the COVID. So yeah, so it's been good. Like I say, it's been good, and I think there's a lot of fighters there under the same stable. We all get on.
Mm-hmm.
There's no animosity between any fighters. Even with Frampton, I know they've been talking about me and Frampton now. There's no animosity there. It's just business. Yeah. He's just where I want to be, and that is just how it is at the end of the day. And he knows that. Like, I've got a target on my back, like he has. He's got a target on his back.
How do you like? Obviously, you know, you're still so young, and you still got a lot more that I imagine you want to achieve in the game. But to the newer guys that are coming through, the guys that are making their pro debuts, they're 2, they're 3, they're 4-0, or you know, taking their forfeit fights. Do you feel like you have a bit of you're matured, that you've got kind of this experience or this knowledge that you can sort of pass on to people, I suppose?
Um, I feel like I've matured a lot more as a fighter. Yeah, I do believe that. Being 18 fights in now, I do believe that I've matured a lot. Looking back, even from the Woodstock fight, my first title fight, I've matured a lot over. And then I boxed in December, and I think I overdone it. So
Hmm.
now I've had a long rest, and like I say, I've made the weight easier than ever before, but I'm bigger. It's crazy. So I'm looking forward to getting in there Saturday and putting it all to test. But regarding giving people advice, I think it's timing. Everything's timing because
Hmm.
you can always rush. And I think the best thing I've done was timing. It took me a little while longer than most other people to get where I am, but I think it's done me the world of good.
How you know, what you're saying there about like the time and you know, learning through kind of your experiences as a fighter in boxing, that kind of all attribute to be you maturing and to learning more about yourself and yourself as a fighter and different things. But how much of the rest of it goes into that sort of being able to say maturing, as in like the business of boxing, your life outside of boxing? Like how does it all come together?
Um, well, as an amateur, I had a phenomenal amateur career, and I box very well, very smart, very clever. And when I look at my first fights, like as a fighter, I've matured. The way that I box, longer rounds, and then regarding outside, obviously having a family and everything else, um, it makes you realise that basically, see with this boxing as well, it's an hard sport. So when I win on Saturday, I'll be looking to sitting down with Frank and not just because I've been like I said, I've had some tough fights. I think it's fair to say that boxing Woodstock, Jordan McCrory, Declan Garrity, Ramlavs, that they've been tough fights. So
Hmm.
now I want the big fights now. So for me, I've learned the business side more so, um, and my value and my worth now. Do you know what I mean? Hence the reason why I want to fight for the big fights.
Hmm. Does that then add to the confidence, I suppose, of you being like, you know, you know yourself more, you know your status more, you know your brand value, I suppose, more.
Yeah, especially like I said to you earlier, I don't feel like no one's seen me at my full potential yet. So
Hmm.
it gives me more confidence. Everyone talks, oh yeah, Archie's doing well. He's flying. He's boxing good fighters. Do you know what I mean? He's doing really well. He's ranked number 4 in the world now. And I'm sitting there thinking, but do you know what? No one's actually seen me at my full potential yet. That's why I
Hmm.
want these big fights, the Frampton fights, the Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez, Jamel Herring. I want these big fights because that will then allow me to go and do what I know I can do. It's just
Hmm.
not taking anyone for granted. It's just always do enough to win. But give
Would you
me
be
something.
would you be a naturally patient person, or is patience something that you have to learn to be?
It's been hard. It's been hard because there's a lot of fighters out there. If you noticed, have been come from amateurs and they've shot straight up in the limelight. They're getting all the attention,
Hmm.
and after them ain't even done anything what I've done as an amateur. And that's your stepping stones. Well, I believe that's your stepping stones. And there's a lot of fighters out there that have been chucked right at the front. They get all the publicity, all the sponsors. So I have had to go the harder route, but
Hmm.
to be honest with you, I feel like I've appreciated it a lot more. Um,
I was just about to say, do you feel a little bit more grateful that you got to? I can imagine that for somebody that, you know, kicks off their career, 1, 2, 3 fights, and is like just thrown into a media spotlight, and there's a lot of pressure and like the prospect, and you know, all eyes are on them, and there's sort of like an expectation then on you. I imagine that would be very hard to live up to, where you had kind of the luxury of getting to know the game, getting to know yourself, developing as a
yeah,
fighter, and then getting sort of all those accolades on top of it.
yeah, 100%. And luck, and for me, I think it's helped me with outside life as well. So I do believe in everything comes to those who wait. Good things
Mm-hmm.
come to those who wait.
Yes, indeed.
And I've done 4 years of my apprentice, if you like, to be in
Mm-hmm.
the position where I am now, and I'm just grateful to be in the position where I am. I enjoy it a lot more. I haven't just been chucked and given it. I've grafted and worked hard. I've gone and beaten champions in their own backyard. I've gone and defended against top domestic fighters. Same again on Saturday, another tough fighter who's boxed at super, or light welter. I think he boxed at Harrow Davis at.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I must say, you're very relaxed for someone that's fighting in a couple of days. Is it just like what's the feeling like? What's going through your mind at the moment?
it's very strange. It's very unusual. You know, the fact that I have no crowd. It's a very different scenario at the minute. I do feel a lot more relaxed than usual, but for me, the more relaxed I am, the more dangerous I am, and that's what I personally believe. You know, and my trainer says to me all the time, I could be out for weeks and weeks, coming to spar and spar unbelievable. It's like, well, you have been training? I said, no, just relax, no pressure, and that's what I feel at the minute. And there is a bit, you've got to have a bit of pressure there, because obviously my belt's on the line. Do you know what I mean? And my unbeaten record and my world rankings on the line. So of course there's going to be some sort of tension, but I'm a lot more relaxed, and like I say, I'm more happy to be on such a big card with Frampton, Conlon, and obviously my name with them. I'm grateful, and that just makes me more hungry.
And also, do you know what? Boxing fans, you know, me as a boxing fan, it hasn't been any. Obviously, there's a big difference of not having the crowd there, and obviously, we'd all love to be there and like doing the interviews and all that. But it's actually been so exciting to like sit and be an actor, for me to be a fan again, and to just sit back and not have to, you know, be there and do my job. I suppose I get to just sit and enjoy it like everyone else. And it's special, it's different, you know what I mean? It's not something we've experienced before, we've seen before. So in terms of like a fan perspective, there's no kind of difference in terms of enjoyment, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, because you think, you know yourself, when you're at fight night, it's all rush, everything's all over the place, and you don't really get to enjoy the night.
Yeah.
But the way, for a fan, when I watch the other fights, you can sit back, you can just chill out. Like you say, you can watch it, and then, especially if you're a boxing fan, other fans like the atmosphere and whatever else. But if you just want to sit back and just chill out and watch pure boxing, then I think it is good in certain ways.
Yeah. Before I let you go, because I know it's obviously fight week, so I don't want to keep you too long. But we've obviously this week had loads of press and media attention around Frank coming out and saying that he would like to join forces with Eddie, with Matchroom, and to like create these like, you know, super fights, I suppose, super promoted fights. What's been your opinion, or do you have an opinion on it? Would you like to see it?
Yeah, I think it's great. Because I know they've got me and Zelfa on there. I think that's a great matchup.
Do you know what? That was what, as soon as it got announced, you and Zelfa was just like what everyone, you know, one of the top fights that everyone was talking about.
I think for the fans, me and Zelfa is going to happen, because they want the fight. They want me and Zelfa to fight. So it's definitely going to happen, and I think in great time it will. Like I said, I've done things with him, a couple of interviews with him before, and I know he's on his own path. I'm on my path.
Yeah.
If he goes and achieves what he wants to achieve, and I achieve what I've got my eyes set on, then 100% me and Barrett fight is gonna happen. But for bigger things, it goes back to what I was saying about value and worth. Do you know what I mean? I think them fights are going to be big fights, so why not make them? Both got world titles.
Absolutely. And he's obviously out this weekend as well. He's fighting our Irish man, Eric Odonovan.
Okay.
What do you think? Did you know he was fighting? Do you have any? Do you think he's going to win that? What's your predictions?
To be honest with you, I'll be lying if I say I know anything about Donovan. Is he do you obviously know much about him?
Yeah, he's got an undefeated streak at the moment. I think he is undefeated. I'm not sure what his record. I think it's like 11-0. I could be totally wrong now, but he's got a very, in terms of like having a good following and having a high profile over here, he would be one of the fighters who would do a lot of he would get a lot of mainstream press. Not as much as like Frampton or Conlon, but he will be up there. Yeah, he's coached by Kenny Egan, who won a silver medal for us in the Olympics a couple of years back.
Well, that's very interesting then. So what's your prediction on the fight?
I mean, obviously it's not good for me to have an opinion because I offend someone. But if I'm being honest with myself, I think I want Eric to win, and I think that he is hungry enough to want to win it, because obviously this is a huge stage for him, something that he's been working towards for a long time. So I definitely feel like he's going to go in there as a game opponent. But also, Zelfa is not an easy opponent. You know what I mean? He's like a fantastic fighter, and we all know about Zelfa. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I want Eric to win. Hopefully he does. Hopefully Zelfa wins as well. Hopefully it's a draw. What can I say? Hopefully it's a draw.
Well, I must say I must say you've definitely sold the show, the fight. I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Good stuff.
When is it? Saturday?
It's Friday. Matchroom is
So
Friday.
Friday, the night before.
Just in case your botch is watching this, we should all be watching Queensbury Promotions on Saturday night as well, because that's going to be a phenomenal card.
Yeah, 100%. But it's always nice to see the opponents, isn't it? Always have to see what the competition's like, and
Absolutely.
It sounds like a good fight.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, who wins here but boxing fans? All of us that are fans of boxing, we win because it's 2 nights of great fights, and then you all getting out and you all get paid. So it's a win-win situation, right?
The win-win, 100%.
But listen, I'll let you go. Thank you so much, and it was short notice to get you on, so I really appreciate it.
That's no worries at all. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, and we'll chat again soon. Unfortunately, I thought I'd be there. I thought we will be back to normal, but how and ever, in a few months, hopefully, we'll be back covering shows properly. But best of luck, best of skill.
Lovely.
And I look forward to seeing. And if you get any videos, send them to me. Little backstage videos, send them, and I'll post them on the page. And
perfect. I will.
Please tell Frank I said hello.
Will do.
And if he wants to hire me at any stage, I can plan a flight, I can quarantine, no problem.
100%, I'll be honest.
Okay, cool, Archie. Listen, enjoy yourself, and best of luck with the week.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Take care, yeah?
See you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.